Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lorraine Gallagher from Ahead, broadcasting to you from not such a sunny Naas today. Listen, I hope today is going to be a really interesting and interactive session for you all. I'm delighted that we have the brilliant Trevor Boland.
Hello.
He's our co-host, and the wonderful Holly Murray, all the way from gorgeous Donegal.
Hi.
Right? Yay! So listen, use the chat to throw in your questions and anything you want to ask. We like it to be a fairly interactive session. So feel free to throw in your questions and I will interrupt the poor speakers. Both Trevor and Holly will kill me after the session. I know. No, we feel like it makes it more like a kind of a chat instead of just us talking into a void. We like for people to interact. You can also, if you wish, to raise your hand, and you can, if you want, unmute your mic when we have the Q&A session as part of this talk this afternoon. Trevor is going to talk for about 25 minutes. He's going to talk about Office 365 and he's talking about stream and video and other possibilities. Holly Murray, who is from, as I said, Donegal, she is a post-primary teacher, but she is actually a Microsoft and Apple innovator expert. So if you have any questions around that, she will know the answer. If we don't know the answer today, we will endeavour, of course, to get back to you after this session. As I say, it's quite interactive, so feel free to pose those questions. And where are people watching this from today? Anyone wants to put into the chat there where you're coming from today? Where are you based? Is it sunny? Is it raining?
Well, I'm from sunny Donabate, so it's by the beach, so naturally it's sunny. We have a microclimate here. It's constantly summer weather, even in December. No, it's not. But so actually, we probably have a few people dotted around the country. I see just from Eventbrite, we have a few people.
Somebody here, Denise, is from rainy Galway. But you know what? Galway's even gorgeous in the rain. Claire Kelly from Carlow IT. Thank you very much, Claire. And we have Sylvia Nutley from Galway. Yeah, another one. Rain, go away. Kildare, yes, like myself, Alexandria, the lovely Kildare. There's a few people from Galway. So that's nice. I wish I was in Galway. Mary from DCU. Hi, Mary. Very nice. Galway. Lots of people from Galway.
Yeah, I think we got a few people signing up from Galway this morning.
Yeah,
so we got like a Galway rush.
Brilliant. Well, that's brilliant. Well, listen, will we get cracking, guys? So I'm going to hand you over to Trevor and Holly, and they're going to do some quick introduction. Oh, just before we do that, I want to just mention as well that I am the sub-editor of the Ahead Journal as well as the information officer. So if any of you out there have articles or innovative practice that you'd like to tell the world about, you can contact me by email or by question on the website. So my details are lorraine.gallagher@ahead.ie, but Trevor has put the link in there as well, so you can contact me very easily.
And Lorraine, I've added your email address as well.
Oh, brilliant. That's brilliant. So listen, well, I'll throw it over to you guys then, and I'll be working away in the chat.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks a lot for coming, everyone. Really appreciate it. We know it's like 3 o'clock in the day and it's a weekday, so naturally you're all busy. So thanks a lot for making the time to talk to us. So my name is Trevor Boland and I'm a newbie in Ahead. So I've been here for, I keep saying like 2 months, but like it's almost 9 months now, I think. Yeah, I think my sense of time is being blurred during these COVID times. So I'm the Digital and E-Learning Officer here. So I've been working on a number of projects, including the UDL badge project that's running right now. So, and that course is running now with about 800 participants in it. So it's really exciting to see that taken off the ground. So today, what I'll be talking about is one aspect of Office 365, and that's Stream. But just before we start, I just want to ask people and invite you to participate in just a quick poll. So the poll is about kind of gauging people's level of knowledge around Office 365. So can you see that on your screens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So I think for the audience, not for us panelists, the audience should be able to select one or more of those options. So basically it's about asking the level of familiarity people already have. So if you work in a center or an institution or university, and you have an Office 365 available to you and your students as well, just trying to gauge the level of awareness of some of these tools, because Holly is going to be talking about a number of these. So the list is basically based on the content from Holly's as well as my own presentation. So, okay, so I think we might end polling. Okay, so the numbers coming in. Oh, sorry, 6 of 15 have answered. So there's just a few more people who've yet to vote. So I can see that. Great stuff. Thanks very much. I think there's just 4 more people left to click on that. And we see it's fairly even across the board already, about levels of maybe 50% of the group are aware of Immersive Reader, Dictate. And there's 2 people left just to click, if it's possible. Sometimes there can be issues seeing the poll. So hopefully that's not the case with anyone watching this. So great stuff. Thanks very much. So great. So I'll just end polling and share those results with you. So it's clear to see that Immersive Reader is top. So I think that might be no surprise to Holly.
And it's interesting that actually Lisa Egan said, I don't use any of those, but I can see it, but none of them apply to her. But maybe they do. They will apply later on when we go through how they can be used. So hopefully there'll be something in there for everybody.
Okay, so Holly, are you surprised most people are aware of Immersive Reader, because you'd be more experienced engaging people?
Yeah, it's actually fantastic to see that so many people are aware of it. Again, whenever I found out about this in Microsoft in their building in Dublin a couple of years ago, and I remember my reaction when I seen it first. So hopefully for the people that haven't seen it, they'll be amazed at the strength that it has for accessibility later on.
Yeah, because I think so, because even when I was an assistive technology officer, Read Write Gold was something that I would have issued students with for years. So when I saw Immersive Reader, it suddenly made mainstream reading technologies look spectacular and a lot more accessible to students. So I was delighted about that introduction to Office 365. So Dictate and Word is well known. Office Lens also seems to be known. Live captions of PowerPoint, Stream for videos. Thank God no one knows about it. So I'll be talking a little bit about Stream later. And the accessibility checker, there's about a third known about that. So I think Holly may mention that a little bit briefly. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I will.
So I will just shut that down. So is that shut down? Is the poll gone now on the screen for you?
I can still see it.
I can still see it as well. Yeah.
Okay. Where are you?
The joys of technology, the little things.
Yeah, I know. Why is it not going? Okay. So is it still there?
I can close it.
Oh, can you? Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just closed it off my own screen. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's not closing down on mine. Okay. So so briefly, if you're new to assistive technology, it's basically a type of technology that supports people with disabilities. So the types of people who would use it could vary from anything from people with speaking difficulties, typing, for example, if they have dyspraxia, writing as well, if they have dyspraxia or processing issues, remembering can be a common one. That can be part of the dyslexia thinking process, pointing, seeing, hearing, learning, mobility issues, as well as others. And then sometimes a lot of these disabilities can not only be one, but in terms of groups. So that's that type of term used for that would be like comorbid, where it can be more than one disability. And then in that case, sometimes, matching technology support those students can be a little bit more complex then. What I really love about assistive technology and why I really enjoyed being an assistive technology officer was that quite simply it was transformative. So you could see technologies supporting students in these ways that help them to participate as fully as possible within the education experience. And so out of that, it would say build their confidence, their productivity, and mostly just make them feel like on par with everyone else in the group that they were studying with. So where I love ahead research, I love this pyramid, and I know Lorraine is a big fan of this pyramid as well.
Yeah.
She's mentioned it in one or two presentations throughout the years. But why I love it is that when I think about assistive technology, especially now, I think about this pyramid, because when I started being an AT officer, this idea of mainstream technologies like Office 365 didn't really happen yet. I start to feel old when I say things like that. So I think Google for Education just came about when I was new to the AT officer role. So just as I had left the institution, Office 365 came about, and that created all these new possibilities, not only for students with disabilities, but all types of students. So now when I think of this pyramid, I am amazed at this base of the pyramid. So technologies that can support the most amount of students. And so when I think of Office 365 now within institutions, I think of this type of pyramid and how all these tools that Holly's going to mention, like Immersive Reader, Dictate within Word, all these can help not only students with disabilities, but students who might have a disability but haven't disclosed it yet, or students who suspect they have a disability but haven't disclosed it yet, or people who maybe have temporary kind of issues, like have damaged a leg or a hand or something like that. So Office 365 has all these kind of supports really now that can help everyone within the center or institution where they work. So for me, I think the next stage is about kind of generating that awareness and training then about these Office 365 tools, and informing people about what they can do for students and staff as well. So UDL and UDL and linking with technology, I think is really, really powerful. So I particularly love this quote about UDL, and I got it from these publications. Horizon is this internationally known publication that does all these reports about technology and education around the world, and I think there was even a specific Irish one about 4 or 5 years ago. I mentioned in it, so please feel free to read about me in it. So the quote is, the principles of universal design anticipate learner variability and provide multiple paths to successful outcomes. I think that's a brilliant way. It's a tiny bit clinical, but I really like the way it talks about this sense of variability and multiple paths to success. So when I read that through the lens of Office 365, I suppose I kept thinking, is that possible through Office 365? Can we read in different ways? Can we write in different ways? And for me, I was getting a lot of yeses when I was asking myself that question. So for me, the challenge when I was an AT officer was knowing that there's amazing technologies out there is one thing, but talking to students and persuading students to engage and use these technologies is, can be either very easy, depending on some students, or can be kind of challenging for other reasons. So through a conversation I had with a lecturer in DIT called Kieran O'Leary, he introduced me to this term captology, and for me it made a lot of clicks happen within me about this notion of about technology being persuasive in its nature, and how technology has this persuasive nature to it. We're drawn to smartphones, we're drawn to laptops, and why is that the case? Why do we engage in these technologies? And ultimately it's because we see value in it and purpose to it, and we're actually willing to change or adapt our behaviors then because of these technologies and the persuasive attributes to them. So when I was asking myself about Office 365 and about its persuasive power over people, does Office 365 have a persuasion over people? So are people willing to adapt to Office 365 when they know that it's got Word online, and it's got that dictate feature where you can speak and it generates text with your voice. And for me, like I'll be looking at Stream and the potential issues with that and how that might actually help educators as well, because of a number of features it has within its possibilities. So I suppose this is the dilemma. People are going to be, for potentially the next few weeks or months, depending on how the situation goes in the country with COVID, they'll be staring at a screen where they're going to be looking at images of students for the next few months. So as part of this challenge will be about developing synchronous learning as well as asynchronous. So I suppose this was the point where I was kind of getting more involved in Stream and thinking there might be a few solutions around asynchronous teaching, in particular around teaching online. So what I did was I just started to break down what Stream was. So in case anyone doesn't know what it is, Stream is basically the YouTube of Office 365. So you can upload videos or you can save recordings from Teams. It has an automatic closed captions feature, which means that if the closed captions button is switched on, after like an hour or two, it will generate kind of closed captions like subtitles in a movie, and those will appear at the bottom of your video. So what's really useful about these closed captions seems to be a number of different ways. So students who are deaf or hard of hearing can understand the content of the video because they see the closed captions of what was spoken. And also for a lot of educators, they think for students who have English as a second language, that definitely can be of assistance, because not only do they hear the words, but they can see them as well. And what's really nice about Stream, and I'll show you in a second, is that it has a transcript of the video. So beside the video, there'll be a screen that I'll show you, and that has the transcript of the whole conversation within the video. And it does a really nice job of it as well. And then you can add interactive elements to it as well. And I'll show you that. And I think that for me, this was one of the exciting discoveries I found in Stream. So what I'll do is that I will show you. So just give me a moment. I'll share my screen. Hopefully this will go to the right page. And so I think is that the head journal that's up there?
Yeah,
that's the journal. So you can all see that page. Send it to me.
So just send it to Lorraine. Okay, so I've clicked on changed the page. So can you see that, Lorraine? The
yeah,
Office
I can
365
see that, yeah.
page?
Yeah,
Great.
I can, yeah.
So if you have Office 365, this should be the type of menu you see. So this should be quite common to you. So Stream can be found here. So I can click on Stream. That's going to take me to that YouTube like version of Office 365. Sorry now, I've got a little menu of Zoom getting in my way. So it's worth exploring for a number of reasons. So I'm just going to take you to the key thing that I like the most. So if I go to create, and you can upload a video. So I have uploaded a video. It was a training video that I did with a Moodle facilitator. So I uploaded it. So I will go and see my videos. So my content videos. So here we see the Ahead Moodle training. So when I click on this, the video should be playing. Can you see that?
Yeah, you can see it, yeah.
Okay, great. So here we go. I know, I'm seeing myself. I'm having an outer body experience, I swear. So,
yeah, you're in Dublin.
So what's happening is that this was a video I uploaded. So these are the captions it generated automatically. So I didn't type anything. So I left it as it is. And I think it did a really, really good job of generating pretty accurate text based on the conversation I had with the very nice lady from Moodle. And within that, we see a number of things in this page. So we see the closed captions button that you might recognize from YouTube. So that just turns them on and off. Here on the side, we see this transcript that I would have mentioned just a few moments ago. So you can scroll down through the whole thing. And the transcript is really, really nicely done. I love this particular feature. So you can actually select all the text if you want, copy it and paste it into a Word document if you want. So your students then, if maybe they don't have the broadband that they can't stream the video, then they could copy the transcript and put it into a Word document and then just read the content of the video. So that's a way of bypassing this Wi-Fi issue that can sometimes happen for students. And then in terms of like correcting it, making corrections to it is really easy. So these three little buttons here, sorry, I just have to move a few things around on my screen. These three buttons here show a couple of little tools. So this one enables an auto roll. So as I'm speaking, this rolls down, which it does really, really nicely. This feature here, when I click on it, allows me to edit and make changes then to the text. So if there was a certain term I was using, or maybe it didn't get a certain word properly, I can edit it really easily. So I will click on that. And it just does a really, really nice job of it. But the little gem that I found, when I clicked on this tab, it was something I found accidentally. When I press interactivity, I can now add kind of Office forms to it. So basically like Google Forms now at specific points in the video. So there's this form that I added, and that's 18 seconds into the video. So if I press play at 18 seconds, it'll give me a little option just popping up here to click and open this form. So this could have lots of possibilities. So here we go. So here we go, open technology you like form. So if I click on this, this will now open a form within that video, and say the student who's watching it can fill in the answers in the text boxes. And what's great about that is the student will be in their own Office 365 account. So as they fill everything in, everything is going to an Excel sheet within Forms, and it's being fed into an Excel sheet, and it's recording the time it takes the student to type in the answers. It's also just keeping a record of the student's name and their email address as well. So it's doing a really good job in the background, documenting all this. And I'll show you what the Excel page looks like when you download it. So when they're finished filling in this form, so it could be about questions to do with the video, getting maybe you asking questions about, say, the nature of the content of the video and answering them. And when they fill in that, just click continue and it will carry on. And there's another form then, about 30 minutes, 36 seconds. I'm not going to play the video for 20 minutes to get to that point. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting way of making a video kind of more interactive, because videos maybe potentially could be seen as a little bit passive. So this form ability is a really good way of kind of checking their comprehension, also gauging that students are engaging with the video content. Because if you're making asynchronous content, you can generate questions. They have to interact with the video to connect with the information that's been conveyed. They'll have the closed captions to support their learning. The forms could be used as like forms of assessment possibilities. And then if you want to add extra forms, you click on this add form, and then click here to open up the forms box, and you can generate your questions. And then there'll be a copy of a URL they needed, and you paste it in here, and then you can adjust where you're going to have this third form popped into your video. So it's pretty powerful. And then there is also one last thing that I want to show. You can actually record videos yourself within this. So if you go to create and go to record screen, you just follow the instructions, and you can record up videos up to 15 minutes in length. And then you can upload those into Stream and create more forms to make it more interactive. So it's really well designed. And I think as a tool to not only making videos really easily, but it generates closed captions really well. And then that interactive element of the forms, I think is really, really kind of special. It makes it kind of stand out from other tools that I've seen. So I think it's worth exploring it if you haven't seen it before. So What?
Trevor, can I
Yeah,
just ask you a question
yeah.
actually that people might want to answer? How long does it take to generate the transcript?
To generate the transcript, well, I put up this video of that Moodle training. That was 2 hours long, and it took about an hour, from what I observed, to generate the closed captions from that.
So just to go back a little bit, so when you upload it, do you have to tell it that you want to generate, you give it an instruction?
No, by default, it has the closed captions feature switched on. So, so you just don't switch anything around. And I think those settings, I think they might be in view settings. Or no, it's not. It's in one of these kind of tools here. Because I remember seeing it earlier. But it is somewhere really, really, really simple. And of course now I
So
can't think where.
no, is it fairly intuitive for people if they want to use it, to upload their video and it will just do it?
Oh yeah, oh there it is. So those 3 dots there, more actions.
Yeah.
I think it's update video details. And here you can see captions and that little tick box.
Auto generate, yeah.
Just tick that and it's done. And actually it's here then where you can even download the captions file as well. So you can download that. And then if you have the subtitles created. So for today, we have someone doing closed captions. So for anyone who needs closed captions, they can just press the CC button. And like that, our captioner then will give us a file of subtitles, and we could then upload that to a video then after this, and that will synchronize it then to the video. So it's actually really powerful for what it is. And I think as a teaching tool, especially for asynchronous teaching, because I know a number of lecturers who've had to engage in asynchronous teaching activities now, and are creating videos. I think this is a really kind of special tool that could really stress. Yeah. So I'm just aware of my time, and I just don't want to hog Holly's time. So I'm just going to go back to my slides and just finish up. So I think I've done that slide. So basically, what are the possibilities? I've kind of covered this. So Stream, it provides really good quality automatic closed captions. I'm not saying it's like 100% perfect, so there's nothing that can replace Captioner. If you can get your institution to get Captioner, that is fantastic. But as a second place alternative, that's doing pretty well. It can also allow you to edit the closed captions really easily. So I did that myself even in one video, and it's really, really good. And then the transcript, I think, is really, really nice. And I like the way it grays out the text as it reads it out in the transcript as well. So that makes it really easy to follow along as well. And so for assessment possibilities, I think having those forms in with the video really gives you lots of options to adapt it to lots of different disciplines. Yeah.
Actually, Trevor, can I just cut in there again? Somebody's actually just asked about the forms. So in terms of forms, Alexandra says, in terms of the forms within the video, once completed by the student, where do we retrieve the information from?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good point. Well, you just simply follow the link to the forums. So will I just share, if you go back to your forms, yeah, you go into your forms and you download an Excel sheet. I can show you what the information looks like very, very quickly if you want.
Yeah.
So in forms, so I did this yesterday. So I went back to my forms. I could just download each form. And I will stop share temporarily, and I'll just find the right thing. So this was, so I actually did this with the head staff a number of months ago.
Good.
I know you might have forgotten. So this was the form I added. So you'll see the how many students did it, the time index, so the date as well as how long it, and the exact time when people did it. And actually even the length of time. So you'll see how long it took people to finish the survey. So there's the start time, there's the finish time. And there's the email addresses. Now I have changed the email addresses just for the sake of GDPR. So their email addresses would have appeared here. So their names would have appeared here. So again, just for GDPR, I've done my name in gobbledygook in all these sections. And then just the name of the form populates here because, you know, because I was thinking there's lecturers I know who are filling in Excel sheets basically in December, and then uploading all those grades then to like electronic grade books, where then, you know, the exam services have to do it. So basically I was kind of thinking this is a really nice way to help lecturers fill in information for electronic grade book purposes as well. So
Very
it's
good.
kind of coming out an end from
Very
that.
good.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, so I will just close off. So I'll go back. So apologies for zipping around the place. So I think that's it then. So just a reminder then about making your own videos. You can make them in PowerPoint, and a link to our webinar about using PowerPoint and making videos. A link to Screencast-O-Matic, where there's a little bit of information about how you can make 20-minute long videos with a free piece of software called Screen-O-Matic. And then within Teams, you can record the screen, as well as that record screen feature that I showed you in Stream as well. And it's quite nice. So basically, can Stream help you and your students? I think it can, but I mean, I'm not at the front end, in front of COVID, kind of dealing with all this. So for educators out there, maybe this is a possibility that has been answering a question, especially if you're developing asynchronous material, that could actually help you really kind of connect with your students, and especially inform assessments as well, and be accessible to students with and without disabilities, because it generates closed captions really well from videos you upload. Okay. So quick poll. So as we know, polls are amazing. So I will exit this. I would just go to poll 2. And I will select the second poll. So I'll launch it. So it's more needed to make Office 365 known. So I thought, so can you see that on your screens?
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, from people I know in institutions who have Office 365, I think the full gamut, the full remit, and the full possibilities of Office 365 is explored in some centres and colleges, but maybe not more. So I suppose when I said, is there more needed? Yes, maybe, and no. I left up, and then I just thought, might as well just put more specific things, like, is more training needed for staff? So our institutions, so the one institution that I know of actually didn't provide training for either staff or students. So I think there was a bit of a kind of a missed opportunity there. And then also where there was training talked about, it was only from a staff point of view and not from a student's point of view. So again, I think there was another missed opportunity there. And then in terms of just a campaign, like an annual campaign, I'd love to see something happen in September and October with new students, just whether it's literature or leaflets, just informing them about, like, by the way, we have Office 365, and not only does it have emails, but you can also use Word and Dictate and all this stuff, because I think just a lot more could be done. So the short of it is that, yes, 67% do think there needs to be more done to make Office 365, and maybe the small amount of maybes, maybe they're already familiar with this, and maybe they don't need more around it. And then regarding more training needed for staff, like, strangely enough, as well as training for students. I'm glad actually a lot of people said that, because I actually think there can be an assumption that students kind of already kind of know this information, when really it needs to be kind of go back and just kind of deal with those kind of assumptions, and maybe they just need just a few kind of sessions of some sort and some guys, and that would be great. So I'm going to press stop share results. Okay. So is that, I think you have to click off on your own screens, do you, to make it disappear?
Yeah,
I know.
so, yeah.
Okay, so I will shush and hand the reins over to Holly. Okay.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Absolutely delighted to be here today from a not so sunny Donegal. I hope you can all understand my northern accent. It's quite northern. Again, delighted to be here today with Trevor and Lorraine, and a massive thank you to Trevor for asking me to get involved in this. It's absolutely fantastic opportunity to be working with AHEAD, and as I'm also taking part in the EDL badge as well, so it's fantastic to help out. Okay, so I am just going to share my screen here first. So maybe a little bit more about me. As Lorraine mentioned, I have experience teaching in the FET sector and as a post-primary teacher of history and geography. I've also completed the Apple Teacher Badge. I've also been granted the Microsoft Innovator Educator Expert Award for this year, which was fantastic because, again, there was a lot of people in for it and not everybody gets selected, so I was delighted to be picked for that. And this year I've also worked with H2 Learning, and I have designed content for them on accessibility and inclusion as well. So I teach the Dyslexia Association of Ireland in the Donegal branch, and this is kind of where my passion for accessibility and inclusion has come from over the past few years. So trying to cater for learners with diverse needs. Okay, so I am just now very quickly going to share my screen. Let me just see here. Yeah, so share screen. Brilliant. Okay, so can you see that?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep, perfect.
Brilliant. So from the beginning, okay. So again, that's my name. As I said, my name is Holly Murray, and that is my Twitter. If any of you fellow educators are on Twitter, feel free to follow me on that. I post a lot of tweets about accessibility and inclusion in particular, and it's all to do with education. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, feel free. And again, if I haven't covered anything perhaps, or if I haven't made it clear enough, please feel free to pop me a message later on Twitter and I will get back to you straight away. Okay. So first of all here, so Trevor has mentioned now, so assistive technology. Okay, so what exactly is assistive technology? So it is basically any device, software, or any type of equipment that can help people work around their challenges, and they can learn to communicate and they can function better. Okay, so it's really, really important. And again, today I'm going to be looking at the assistive technology that Microsoft has built into their Office 365. And again, these tools, some of them are absolutely fantastic, and they can help people work around their challenges while also playing to their strengths. Okay, so some of the technologies that Microsoft offer are absolutely fantastic. Okay, so that's just a definition of what assistive technology is. Okay, so very simply is, now you probably have seen this image before. So why is UDL and assistive technology so important in education today? So again, there's this idea that the old idea used to be that one size fits all. And as we know now, we have such a wide range of learners with diverse needs, dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, etc. Okay, so it is now today more important than ever that we reflect on our own teaching and perhaps realize, okay, maybe that method didn't work. What can I do differently? Okay, so this image here is very, very powerful. So for a fair selection, everybody has to sit the same exam. So again, that is a very powerful message that no one size fits all. And obviously our learners are also different and they will all learn differently. So you might have visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic, or learners that read and write. Okay, so again, we have to be ticking that box for accessibility and inclusion in our classroom. And the principles of UDL, so Universal Design for Learning, allows for that. And it really makes you think about your teaching and how you can constantly improve, because we as teachers and educators should be lifelong learners. Okay, so you're always going to be learning from each other as well. Okay, so how can Microsoft help? Okay, so basically there is so many answers to this. So this is a brilliant display here of areas that they can help with. Okay, so you can see there, and again, I can forward this to Trevor if he would like to email this out maybe to some of the members if they wish. So again, this is a full list of the areas that Microsoft can help with. So again, it can help with literacy and numeracy, which would be your reading and writing and math in your classroom. With speech and communication. So again, today, some of the tools that I'll be demonstrating will tick the boxes for literacy and numeracy in particular. Again, if you have hearing difficulties, mental health, mobility, and vision impairments, okay, so there is something there for everybody. And again, now in the 20 to 25 minutes, I can't demonstrate every single tool that Microsoft has, but again, I'm going to go through their main ones. Okay, so again, that's an excellent tool there, and again, I'll send that on to Trevor at the end if anybody would like it. Okay, so
actually, just to say, Holly, that the slides are available on the webinar, the members webinar webpage as well, but
perfect.
we will send them out as well. Yeah.
Perfect. That's brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so basically, Microsoft have a lot of learning tools, okay, and it's all about this inclusive classroom, okay, so they can help, again, as I said, with literacy, numeracy, maths, especially in OneNote, and for communication. So the first tool that I am going to demonstrate today is called the Immersive Reader. Okay, then I'm going to look at Dictate. I'm going to show you the accessibility checker. I'm going to demonstrate Office Lens actually in a video that I made last night, just to speed it up in case we had any technical difficulties today. I'm going to show you how to add live subtitles to your PowerPoint. And again, you're ticking the accessibility there for your EAL students or students that don't speak English as a first language. And again, I'm going to show you the alt text option as well for anybody that will be using a screen reader. Okay, so this is a very, very important function for accessibility. Okay, so again, the Immersive Reader, it is found in Office 365. It is found in almost all of the Microsoft tools today, and I'm going to be demonstrating it in Word, okay, just a plain Word document. Again, it's available in OneNote and it's available in SharePoint, okay, so it's coming across in more and more of their apps, but it is also now available in a wider range of other apps as well. So I'm not sure if any of you today watching maybe use Nearpod or you use Peer Deck or Wakelet or any of those. So again, Microsoft are kind of branching into a lot more areas now, and again, they're helping other apps really tick that box for accessibility and inclusion. Okay, so I am just going to come out of this PowerPoint for a second, and I am going to click into just a Word document here. It's actually just a sample answer that I would be using in my classroom, so just bear with me just 1 second. I can just drag this down. Okay, so can we also see that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. So this is just a Word document that I've opened in my Office 365. So as I said before, I'm a history and geography teacher, so this is just a sample answer, okay? So it's just a plain Word document. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the Immersive Reader, okay? And if you haven't heard of it before, basically what it does is it reads the text back to you, but it does more than that, okay? And this is why it is such a powerful tool. So if you just come up here and you click on the View tab in your Word, you click on View and you have the Immersive Reader option here, okay? So I'm just going to tap on that. And again, this will totally change the format of your document, okay? So very simply, down here first, you have a play button. So what the Immersive Reader will do is it will read the text back to you. So I'm just going to start here at the answer and just press play.
A fluvial landform of erosion is a waterfall.
Okay, so perfect. And then in this button here, you can adjust it to a female voice, and you can also increase your speed up or down. And again, that is the preference to the user. They might want it at a slower speed or a faster speed, okay? And then when you come up here, this is one of your first options here, okay? If you tap on this, you can here, just let me move this out of the way. You can first of all here increase your text size, okay? And again, this is a fantastic tool for anybody with a visual impairment. And again, it's making your content more accessible, and that's what you want for your learners, okay? You can also increase the spacing. So I've turned that off. So that's the original spacing, and you can just turn that on, and you can see there that the words are spread out. And again, this eliminates the stress that comes with visual crowding that students with dyslexia suffer from. So it's fantastic. You can change your different fonts, and again, it's a personal preference for that. And then this is probably one of my most favorite features in the Immersive Reader. Okay, so this would be your original document here. So students with dyslexia in particular find it very difficult to read black text on a white background, okay? And I know that from experience over the years. So very simply here, you're making their life a lot easier by changing the different colors, backgrounds, and again, there's more colors there, okay? In my experience, yellow seems to work very well. I don't understand why, but students seem to respond very well. And again, you don't have to go out, you don't have to buy special paper to print on, you don't need anything because it's already built into this, okay? So it's fantastic. So that's the first option there. Your grammar options then, again, is excellent for teaching literacy. You can turn on your syllables. So what is a syllable? You can turn that on and off. what is a noun, a verb, an adjective, or an adverb, okay? And again, you can turn these on with the click of a button and turn them off. And again, you can adjust the colors, okay? So you could be able to teach your students that, okay, all your nouns today is going to be in green, okay? And they might be able to learn it like that. So fantastic for literacy options in your classroom. And then this line focus here is fantastic. So again, I mentioned there visual crowding. So sometimes students with severe dyslexia, if you give them a lot of text, okay, they will panic. They basically will shut down and they might not be able to read it. Whereas this line focus takes the stress away. It's amazing. So what I mean by that is if you click a one line focus, it is going to read it back to you one line, like so.
Waterfall. A waterfall is a land.
Okay, and then you also have a 3-line focus, okay? So again, it's blurring out the background here again, and it's fantastic for students with dyslexia, okay? So I'm just going to turn that off. And then very simply here, then you have this picture dictionary, okay? So again, I have it turned on. So I'm just going to tap on the word waterfall here, and it has given you a visual representation of what the word means, okay? Now, bear in mind the students in your class that do not have English as their first language, okay? So never take it for granted that all your students understand even the most basic of words, okay? So I have experience in further ed teaching adults, and I've experience with teenagers in a post-primary setting, and they do struggle with a lot of the most simplest of terms that sometimes we can just assume that they know because they're an adult, okay? So again, this is fantastic. And again, if you have a student that doesn't speak English as their first language, so here you have this translate option, okay? So I have clicked on Arabic there, so you can either translate one word at a time, so I'll just turn on the word and we'll go back to the waterfall. And again here, you have it in English and you have it in Arabic and you have the visual representation. Okay, so again, it is really making your content more accessible for those students that don't have English as a first language, okay? And again, you also have the option to translate the full document for them as well, okay? So again, Immersive Reader is fantastic. I've seen this demonstrated in Microsoft itself by actually a blind lecturer from UCD. Actually forget his name now, but he was amazing. And whenever he presented with this, I remember the reaction in the audience that day. We were kind of like, oh my goodness, why are we all not using this fantastic feature in our classes? Now, the only one thing I will say is if you're an Immersive Reader and you notice that you've made a mistake, perhaps like you have a spelling mistake or something, you can't edit in Immersive Reader mode. So you very simply just need to come back out of your document, fix your mistake, and then click on your Immersive Reader again. So for me, this is one of my most favorite features that Microsoft have ever brought out. And it's fantastic that they are now sharing this knowledge as well with other apps. So again,
and apparently it took them 2 days to build this. And it was just like an idea that were thrown around in a room. I know, it's incredible.
It's incredible. And for me, it's the real game changer. It's probably for me, it's the one that stands out for accessibility by far. I just think it's amazing. And I think it's great as well that they're actually sharing it now with other apps, that they're not just keeping it for themselves within the Office 365. So it's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so the next option now that I want to share with you is the accessibility option. Okay, so as you can see here, this is just a Word document, and I've highlighted keywords because keywords is very important for the Leaving Cert. So if you just very simply go up here to your Review tab in Word, okay, you have this check accessibility feature. Okay, so you could be typing this up really late at night, you could be rushing, and you might even think, is this actually accessible to my students? Perhaps maybe it's a screen reader they're using. So they have this new feature built in now, and you just tap here on check accessibility, okay? And it will bring it up to you here now exactly what is wrong. Okay, so let's see what I have done wrong here. So hard to read text contrast, okay? And if I just click on that, that is automatically bringing me to where my mistake is, okay? So as you can see here, it's very simple, but whenever I've bolded this word, I've obviously left out the N, okay? So I'm just going to go in here now and I'm going to bold it again, okay? And then I'm going to come back up to my accessibility and I'm just going to hit recheck. Okay, so you can see there now, accessibility check is complete, okay? Now, I have obviously checked or thought I had checked this document properly, okay? So now you could have a long list there, but again, the list is there to help you. And again, it's going to improve accessibility in your classroom. So again, any spelling mistakes or anything like that, they pick it up here. And again, it's very simple. You just click on the tab and you can hit recheck. Okay, so brilliant for any of your Word documents and so simple to use. So again, just go to your review tab and you're going to click on your check accessibility there. Okay, so one other option then now when we're in the Word document is the dictate function. Okay, so again, it's absolutely fantastic. So if we just go here now to the Home tab, okay, so just to recap, Immersive Reader is found in View, okay, and the Review tab is where you find your accessibility. So it's about just playing around with this as well if you're unfamiliar with Microsoft Word. So again, I'm just back now here in the Home tab, and this is your Dictate button here, okay, so brilliant if your students have any kind of impairment that they cannot write or they can't type perhaps large amounts of text. Again, so what I'm just going to do here now is I'm just going to push this down so I have space. Okay, so what this is going to do now is I am going to talk to it. Now, it actually really impresses me that it can pick up my accent, because most people, even down south of Ireland, can't understand me, so it's fantastic. And again, you can say the words full stop, comma, and it will add grammar to your sentences as well. So I will just show you now. So I'm just going to repeat a line from this, okay? So dictate. Just going to tap on dictate. 30-mark question on the formation of a waterfall, full stop. Okay, so you can see there that it has picked me up perfectly, and whenever you're finished talking, make sure that you press this dictate logo again, okay? So 30-mark question on the formation of a waterfall, okay? Now I might try it a little bit faster this time to see actually how accurate it is to pick me up, so let's try it again. 30-mark question on the formation of a waterfall, full stop. Okay, so again, it's brilliant, and again, it's taken away that stress from some students that cannot write large amounts of text. Okay, so over here then there is lots of different options. Okay, so again, it's going to say all your different punctuation. So full stop, you have to say full stop, comma, question mark. Okay, it will insert all of these for you. Exclamation. Okay, so as long as you tell it to the screen, it will insert it for you. Okay, new line, colon, etc. So again, these guides are brilliant, so they can show you exactly what is needed. And again, there's change of language as well, so there's different language settings and stuff there. So again, there's editing, formatting. So again, we wouldn't have time today to go into each of these, but it is absolutely fantastic. And again, if you talk slow or fast, it will pick you up. So again, that is another fantastic feature. And again, this is just in Word. So I'm in Office 365, and this is just a basic Word document. Okay.
And actually, Holly, I would have recommended this tool for students. Like, you know, if they would have handwritten their first version of their essay, yes, I would say then get a quick first version then of that essay then by using the dictate kind of tool. Yeah. Because that's always one of the toughest things students do, is like look at their handwriting, type, look at the handwriting and type. And I think that's a really fast way of generating the first draft if they just read out what's on the paper of a first draft of an essay, because that was always a common issue in colleges.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Brilliant. Again, it can be used kind of, I think, in any setting, whether it's further ed, post-primary, third level, etc. I think it's a very, very valuable tool. I love it. Okay, so the next thing now that I'm moving on to, so I'm going to go back here to my present. So the Office Lens. Okay, so basically what I'm going to show you now is this is a video that I did last night, very simply on my iPad. Okay, so Office Lens, again, is another Microsoft tool, but it is found, you can have it on your Android or your Apple devices. Okay, so again, it is really ticking the box for accessibility. So I'm just going to play this video now, and it's quite short. Again, I was afraid today in case technology failed me, so I'm just going to play this for you now. I'm just going to demonstrate to you now how to use this app known as Office Lens. Okay, so Office Lens falls into the assistive technology category. because it has immersive reader built into it. Okay, again, this app is available on Android and Apple devices, and it is free of charge as well, which is really important. Okay, so for now I am just going to tap on Office Lens. I'm going to open it, and in front of me here I have very simply a history textbook. Okay, so I am just going to take this out as the light, and I'm just going to take a picture. So here on the right hand side, this is your button to take a photograph. You can take a picture here of your whiteboard, a document, your business card, or a photograph by simply the tap of a button. Okay, so Office Lens essentially is like having a scanner in your pocket. Okay, now again, you can drag and drop these corners in and out. Okay.
Wow.
And you might want to have the full page, or you might want to cut and crop it, so you can kind of play around with that. Okay, now when you're done, tap and confirm. Okay, and again down here you have a number of options: filters, rotate, delete, add anchor text if you wanted to write on the document itself. Okay, and then just press done. Now then you have a number of options here. Again, add to your photo library, save it as a PDF, so again your students can't edit it if it's a PDF. OneNote, OneDrive, Word, PowerPoint, and then again you can share it to your emails. But for the purposes of our assistive technology, I am going to tap here on the immersive reader. Okay, so you now know that the immersive reader option will read text back to you, and again you can change the background and have your picture, dictionary, etc. Okay, so it's fantastic. Again, it has the exact same functionality that it has in Microsoft Word or in OneNote. You can press play down here.
Nazi foreign policy. 1000.
Okay, and again you can adjust here. You can adjust a male or a female voice, and you can increase your speed up or down. And then up here then again you can increase your text size. So for example, if this was aimed at somebody with a visual impairment, you can now see that the letters are much bigger. Okay, you can increase your spacing by turning that on and off, change your font, and change your background colors dependent, but in my experience students seem to work very well with the yellow background with the black text. Okay, again, then you have a number of options. You have your literacy options: what is a noun, what is a verb, turn on your syllables, and then you have your line focus as well. So again, it will read it back to you in one line. Picture dictionary, and again you can translate your document either by word or by the full document. Okay, so it's an absolutely excellent technology. Again, it's in your pocket basically because it's available on your phones. I'm demonstrating this on my iPad, but again, it's fantastic, and it really ticks that box of accessibility and inclusion in your classroom. Okay, so again, that is a very quick run through of that. So is there any questions on that so far?
Well, actually, I have one question. So was that on Android? Because that OCR is amazing. I think, again, that's another game changer for me. What is great about it is the way it's so easy, because like for an iPad, I would have seen similar tools for iPads. And I think when it came out first, I had an Android phone, and the OCR wasn't as good or nearly as good as the iPhones. So it's just as good now on both, is it?
Yeah, it's really good. So I have it on my phone as well. So I actually have an Android phone. I have a Samsung phone, and I use it in school now quite a bit. So it's equally as good on both. And again, I think because it's free, it actually makes it even more accessible, because again, it doesn't need a license, or schools or centres aren't going to be paying a lot of money to get it. So again, it's fantastic because it's in your pocket. And again, it works very well just from a whiteboard perspective of the student taking a picture from the whiteboard, and then when they go home, maybe if they didn't understand what you said in class, they have that option to read it back to you. And again, at the minute in our school, we're trying to limit our books, students carrying books and stuff like that. So what I'm doing is I'm scanning pages from a book, and I'll upload it for them, and then they have the immersive reader then to read it back to them. So again, it's absolutely fantastic, and because it's free as well, it obviously can help big time.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I'm just going to go back here now.
I think Lorraine is saying something. Sorry, Lorraine, can you just unmute yourself? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just going to bring you the bad news. Is we're at the 3 o'clock mark, so I hope people can stay on for another couple of minutes.
It's 3 o'clock already, is it?
Yeah. So we'll motor.
But that's great. So we'll motor on. If people have to go, that's fine.
We'll motor on.
Okay, I am just trying to get this back opened. The last thing
problem.
I wanted to demonstrate, or the last two things, is in PowerPoint. So can you still see my screen?
Nope.
No, we've gone off. No, you've got the screen is gone.
Okay, just give me
Oh, yeah.
1 wee second. Just since I came out of that video, I seem to have lost the home button. This one.
Okay, that share button.
So share screen again, and hopefully this will take me back in again. And press share. Okay, so that should be my home screen, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
That's me back now. Brilliant. So if I just pull this down a little bit, and this is me back into my PowerPoint. Perfect. Okay. So the last few things that I just want to show you is, okay, so back in my PowerPoint here is, this is the Microsoft Educator Center, okay? And again, there is some fantastic free courses that is available for anyone, teachers, students, anybody. And again, these are some of the badges that I've collected on inclusion and accessibility. And again, you can do it on your own time. Okay, so like if you're rushing after school and you've got kids, or you've got a busy evening, you can sit down at any time of the day or night and do these. And again, they are free. And I would definitely recommend, October is Dyslexia Awareness Month, okay? And these two badges here are fantastic, and they're from a group called Made by Dyslexia. And they really give you an eye-opener on how you can make your content a lot better as teachers and educators. So again, that's the Educator Center, and it's free. All you need to do is just sign up and have an account. It's absolutely fantastic. And then this slide here is, this is where all these tools are available. So when I'm talking about line focus and picture dictionary and dictation and this read aloud function,
Excellent.
they are available in OneNote, Word on the iPad, etc. So it's like a color-coded chart. So it's absolutely fantastic. So the last feature now, really quickly, that I just want to demonstrate to you is the subtitles, okay? So you can now add subtitles to your PowerPoints, okay? So again, if you've got students in your class that don't speak English, so it's just here, okay? So it's always use subtitles. So you're in your slideshow tab here, which you need to present obviously from the beginning. So if you click on here, always use subtitles, okay? You have the choice here. So your spoken language, right? So my spoken language is obviously going to be English, okay? And then I might add subtitles for a student in my class, for example, that speaks Spanish, okay? And again, I can have it below my slide or above the slide, so wherever I want the subtitles. So I'm just going to keep it below the slide. I'm just going to show you how this works. So let's go to present now. So from the beginning, okay? So I might say, hello, welcome to this webinar on assistive technology. Okay, and it's not coming up, is it?
It's
No.
not appearing out on my bus. There could be a little lag.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is it because I'm sharing my screen? Just let me go back a second, because I was actually using this in class today. Yeah, always use subtitles. Yeah, so they definitely are turned on.
Yeah, no, it looks right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's below slide. So again, it might be just because I have a share screen option, it mightn't be allowing me to do that. But again, as you speak, so once you turn this on, so pick your own language, pick your subtitle language. And again, the subtitles will run across the bottom. And that's fantastic. So for example, I have 2 students in my class that speak Polish. So I was doing this today and they thought it was absolutely amazing. So I was speaking in English to the rest of my class. And then I was really ticking the box of differentiation because the Polish subtitles were coming up across the bottom. Okay, so again, if you have that, you can play around with it. It is fantastic. Again, I apologize. It must be just because I'm in a share screen mode, but it is brilliant. And then the last thing is your alt text, okay? So I don't know if you've heard of that, but for example, if somebody was watching this PowerPoint now and they're using a screen reader, a screen reader will not pick up an image. So if I tap on this here now, and I right click on my mouse, this alt text option. So what this basically means is I have added a description to each of my images, okay? And that is something that I actually learned from Twitter, okay? I did not realize that people using a screen reader could not obviously read or know what was in the images, okay? So this is really powerful. So again, it says there, this is a Microsoft image. And then if I click on this photograph and I right click on my mouse again and I go to my alt text option, it's the ahead logo. So again, this is all about accessibility and inclusion, and it's very simple. It's probably something that people don't even think about, but again, it's going to make the lives of our students that much easier. Okay.
Yeah, so if you're using like graphs and stuff,
Yes.
you know, people with screen reading software cannot, you know,
Can't read it.
access things like graphs and diagrams. So the alt text is really important in that case.
Yeah, really, really important.
Really important.
Yeah. So again, that's the end of my PowerPoint here. I'm just going to stop my screen. So again, thank you so much. I think we ran over time a little bit.
Brilliant. It was fantastic, the two of you. Brilliant. I'm so delighted. Thank you so much, Holly.
No
as well.
problem. Yeah. It is absolutely my pleasure.
Very good. No, actually, I've learned a lot today as well. I'll be delving into them. That's brilliant. That was really, really good. Of course, you know, Trevor's always brilliant, but it was brilliant to meet you, Holly, and great to do that today. No, really seriously, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I hope that everybody now got a lot from that.
And Holly, I still think there's going to be a lot of people there who's going to be their first time seeing all those tools, especially like that's the OCR tool, Office Lens. Like I can't say enough good things about that, because I know a lot of students out there are trying to read articles that might be in very poor PDFs or PDFs that were made from scanning pages where it's not in a text-rich format and they can't select the text. So again, that OCR option is a great way of making those inaccessible PDFs kind of accessible as well as reading textbooks. Yeah. Absolutely. So I can just see just amazing things. I just wish everyone like who started kind of either higher or further education or just somehow could just be armed with all this information just before the academic year, just so they could see all the possibilities with it. I just think there's
fantastic. And I think with the Office Lens, Trevor, the fact that you don't need to have an expensive iPad or an expensive laptop, which again can kind of be the problem. Like everybody has some sort of phone nowadays that has a camera built into it, and all you need is an internet connection to use Office Lens. So Office Lens and Immersive Reader are definitely my two.
Definitely.
Because they are game changers. Because when you think with like they didn't exist just a few years ago, and then the options were very minimal, you know, for students around like technologies that could do that level, that quality of work to support students. So it's great. Like.
I can't actually believe, Trevor, you said that they made the Immersive Reader in 2 days. I'm actually amazed at that.
I know, and it was Stephen Howell from Microsoft. He told us, he was like, it was just something they were playing around with. And for me, it's like again, I know we keep saying the word game changer, but like it really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you start seeing where Immersive Reader is, like it's in your emails online, it's in your Word, it's like suddenly you'll start seeing it across Office 365. So once you're aware of it, you'll realize that you've been overlooking that Office 365 feature in a lot of your 365 tools. Yeah.
The new Edge browser has it built in as well, I think, for over the last 2 months.
I've noticed that, because I think I mentioned it in a presentation that I did with Lorraine, and I think that's spectacular again. So I don't know, it's just coming on.
Yeah, and there's a few comments here. Someone's commented here, Immersive Reader and Office Lens, fantastic to replace Read and Write and Dragon, especially for low-tech solutions for students.
Because, I mean, how many times are we hearing about the digital poverty issue? I mean, not only is it hard maybe for some students to get a laptop, but to get the bespoke software as well can be hard because, you know, certain technologies can cost anything from 100 to 300 euro. So when there's things like, you know, Dictate in Word and Office Lens out there, it's fairly powerful what you can do once you have paid for a device and a laptop